When I'm in line to come into the Moth, sometimes people ask me if I've told a story, and I say, yes, I've had the delight of being able to do that. And they say, oh, I could never do that. I don't have a story to tell. And those of you who are here know everybody has a story to tell. Now, the guidelines for a story usually are it has to have a beginning, a middle, and an end, or it has to have an arc. And every once in a while, I've told stories that have had arcs. But what about all the rest of the times that make us feel like our lives aren't meaningful? What about the day-to-day moments that actually touch all of us, even though we're not aware of it? Those too are very meaningful stories. So this story may not have an arc, but I think it has a message. 2 years ago, some fires caused Kaiser Hospital to be evacuated. It was here, and a place called Journey's End was literally, I hate that word, but here it's used properly, at the other side of the back parking lot. Journey's End was destroyed, and the physicians and staff evacuated all of the people as their own houses burned down. At the time, I was a volunteer and still am. I have several roles at Kaiser, and one of them is to be a spiritual care team member. And more recently, I've become a member of Pause for Healing, which means that I get to take my little dog, which used to be my husband's dog, and he's about 18 pounds of love with extraordinarily large ears and a very waggy tail and very soft fur. So I'm able to bring him into Kaiser, now that they have long moved back. And he gets to sit on patients' laps. They might be children getting a port put in, or someone who's older and having problems with dementia, or a man who was once a very strong worker who now has got intolerable pain, and he brings a lot of healing to them. Well, as you know, 2.5 weeks ago, we had fires again in my hometown, and Windsor and Healdsburg north of me. It didn't come to Santa Rosa this time, but Kaiser again got evacuated. So on the Saturday that I was meant to bring Chipper in to do his Pause for Healing work, there was no place to bring him in. However, on the Friday before, I got a message from Pause for Healing, and they said, we're being asked to go to the command center for the fires at the fairgrounds with our dogs. And so on Saturday morning, I dressed Chipper in his little vest, and we went off in the cold morning, and after about 45 minutes looking for this incredible operation, I finally found the trailer that had peer support, and I signed in. I don't know how much you have read about the fires. Can I ask you if anybody here is from Sonoma County? There you go. Well, anyway, thank you. Welcome, and welcome home. So we showed up, and the person who was in charge, Randy, said, well, why don't you stand right here with Chipper in the middle of the parking lot here. There are food areas there. We're going to have teams coming in. They are out for 12 hours and 24 hours at a time. And they'll be coming in shortly, and they'll know what to do. You don't have to worry. And sure enough, as I stood there near a flagpole with Chipper, people started coming in. They were firefighters that had been out for 24 hours. They are crews of 3 and 4, and they take turns sleeping so that they can be alert for the firefighting. One person is always up, sometimes 2 or 3, and they sleep in the cab or they sleep on the roof, and then they fight fires. But another group of people that are there that are a very important part of the fires are the California Conservation Corps. So they are generally very young people who have been there from 1 to 1 or 2 years, and their energy was just incredible. The other group that is there is the inmate firefighters. You may have read about them. Inmates usually get paid somewhere from $2 to $10 or $20 a day. In this case, it was probably about $6 a day, but they get to earn a day of credit against their sentence for every 2 days of backbreaking work. And it was so beautiful to watch first the firefighters come down. They come to Chipper like a magnet, bend down, fluff up his fur, hold on to him. And the same thing happens with California Conservation Corps, even the latrine cleaners. But the experience was so incredible that I went back the next day. Chipper was willing. And on that day, the head of the command center said, "Can I come and pin Chipper?" And he got a Unit 6 little pin acknowledging his loving service. I cannot express to you what it means to be able to give back, express gratitude through a creature such as a dog. It is amazing to be able to be part of that. And in preparing for coming here, I'm going to let the time run out for me because I just want to share this with you. I looked up the definition of gratitude, and one of the definitions is the readiness to acknowledge and return kindness. On Monday, Kaiser was back in service, so I was called back this time in my role as a spiritual care volunteer. And we had, for all the staff that was returning, much of the staff had worked through the fires, but for all the staff that was returning, we had pastries, bagels, cream cheese. We had a harp, and we had what's called blessing stations. And at the blessing stations, the staff could, if they wanted, have their hands blessed. Now, I looked up what blessing means. And in some ways, you might say it comes from the word blissful. And by the way, a blessing of unicorns is a bunch of unicorns. So I think there's something there. And I was sitting with a beautiful brass bowl with a little bit of water and beautiful flowers, and staff would come to me, cup their hands, and ask for a blessing. So I thought it would be appropriate, particularly since Chipper used to be Don's dog, and I am, in 2 days, acknowledging the 5th anniversary of his death. But anyway, I thought I would share with you the blessing, if that's all right with you. And if you're not spiritually inclined, it's okay, because it just has to do with deep connections. So if you'll imagine having your hands cupped over a beautiful bowl with flowers and having someone pouring some warm water over your hands and saying, "Blessed be the work of these hands, O Holy One. Blessed be these hands that heal and nurture. Blessed be these hands that love and raise up. Blessed be these hands that embrace in passion, that clench in anger, that shake with frustration, and that clap with joy. Blessed be these hands with their scars and their wrinkles. Blessed be these hands that hold the future. Blessed, oh blessed be the work of these hands."